Hey folks, it is B from B Recovers, and my little pumpkin woke up early from her nap, and I was like so needing to talk about some stuff and do a video that I figured I will have my pumpkin here with me. What is it they always say? Never work with babies and animals. We'll see how this goes. So this video is about a phenomenon I bet many people, if anyone ever watches this channel, can relate to in eating disorder recovery. 85% totally sane, normal, doing great, 15% cray cray. So, let's see. So I've got years of counseling, journaling, self-help groups, books, internet forums, watching videos, like you name it, I've done it and still do it. And that has resulted in a ton of growth, and I'm not perfect by any means, but it definitely has given me a lot to work with, and I've worked on a lot with those tools, but I still have that, like, that 15% crazy, and that all comes down to my relationship with food weight and body image and internalized fat bias. I'm also 5 years sober, and so it is interesting coming from having an experience of, and I'll be talking about that in my history, but having an experience where I was binge drinking, dealt with that, went into counseling right away. The minute I realized it was happening, I went into counseling, and more importantly went into AA, and that was one of those things where it is a true addiction, whereas I think sometimes we say that people who have an eating disorder or who are the larger end of the spectrum have a food addiction. I don't think that they're the same thing. Having lived through food addiction and alcoholism, I use the word food addiction, two different things. Because you don't have to eat every day, but also I don't think you can be addicted to food, but you can be addicted to alcohol. And one of the reasons why, like, and in the course of my life, I'm 43 now, so there's been different, times when I had different mental health issues and I was able to deal with them. So for example, like alcoholism, my extreme levels of anxiety and depression, I sometimes feel like I was able to deal with those other things a bit more quickly and thoroughly, because my primary illness or my primary coping mechanism, or like the primary trauma and damage done to my brain that I think of it as like a kid's like railroad track, and just goes restrict, binge, feel shameful, restrict, binge, feel shameful, punish yourself. I laugh, but it's true. All of that it happened in childhood, and it happened over and over again. So those grooves are really deep, whereas when other things came up later in life, I was able to realize and pinpoint and sort of like laser precision deal with those things. But eating disorder and the thoughts that are related to the eating disorder have persisted, and they're quite strong. The funny thing about it is that, so like 85% totally normal, 15% cray, is that 15% is in stark contrast to the rest of my life. Like, honestly, I'm a pretty basic kind of lady, like I have a professional job when I'm not taking care of monkeys. I have a car, I have a mortgage, I have a house, I have people that rent from me. I have RESP funds and stocks and dentist appointments and all of that. And then there's that craziness there from the eating disorder. And it's sometimes it's overwhelming, because 85% of my thinking and doing and everything is just pretty average and pretty uncomplicated, and then that stuff jumps in, and it's always like so loud and obnoxious too. Like, you'll just be vacuuming, then all of a sudden that I've named different voices of my eating disorder different names. So for me, my drill sergeant is my exercise person, and it's like a personal trainer on crack. You know that guy on YouTube, like every time you're scrolling through videos and he's like, take my quiz to find out what body type personality you are, blah blah. It's him. It basically looks like him. So I'll be vacuuming or something like that, and then he'll pop up in my head and be like, you should squat while you vacuum, and it'll be like, whoa, I was just trying to just trying to clean up some Play-Doh here. Like, dude, calm down. And they're very persistent, those voices. And I used to spend so much time like trying to argue with them when I was younger, before counseling and everything. I'd be like, you should shut up, dude, with your 7-pack or whatever. And then when I went into counseling, you know, I would try to reframe the conversation. So it'd be like, drill sergeant, I know you're just trying to help me. And I know all you want is, your goal for me is to be physically fit as possible and to live a healthy lifestyle. But I'm just got like 3 seconds right now, so I would rather just pick up all the Play-Doh than have this conversation. And of course, all of those personalities in your head have the like arguing ability of Supreme Court lawyers, so they just never shut the hell up, and they go on and on and on. Nowadays, I don't have the energy to do a lot of reframing with those voices and that craziness. I've got these little guys, I've got things to do, I've got teeth to floss, like nobody's got time for that. So some of the things that I find helpful and interesting too, though, is like in the past, reframing and trying to have a conversation with those voices and trying to kind of meet a middle ground with them was very helpful. But right now I'm at a place in my life where I don't have time for it. So I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I say to my voices that really cuts them out completely. Like, it just kind of stops them dead in their tracks. So, one of the things I do recommend, though, is never get nasty with those thoughts. Like, never say, shut up, you're a jerk, or anything. Like, I did that when I was younger, and it's because the truth is, those voices are parts of us, and they're here to help in their own way. They just don't know how to go about doing it. And then by being mean to them or calling them names or arguing too vociferously with them, you're just getting stuck and you're just hurting yourself. So here's some ways that I have found to shut them down kindly so that you can get about your day. So if and when I have the time, I'll ask myself, is that kind, helpful, or true? So let's say my drill sergeant says, you're really fat and you should start doing some squats every time you're stirring some spaghetti sauce. And so instead of answering the voice, I'll say, am I really fat? Is that kind, helpful, or true? And do I really need to be stirring spaghetti sauce, doing squats while I stir spaghetti sauce? I don't know, maybe sometimes I do. Probably more fun to put some music on and dance and ignore that voice, because it is not kind, helpful, or true. And then another one that I say is, the baby's like, yes, I want that iPhone. I know you mean well, but we're not doing that anymore, and it's not an option for us anymore. This one was really helpful to me when I was getting sober, because it just kind of like, it's like having a kid and they say that they want something, you know, they like, mine doesn't want to wear underwear. That's not an option. You're putting on your underwear. We're not doing that anymore. This is an underwear zone. We're not even talking about it. It's end of discussion. And I found that very helpful in my recovery from alcoholism. If I was driving past a liquor store and that voice was like, I would really like to stop to get a bottle of wine, I would say, nope, we're not doing that anymore. So it's pretty helpful. And then this one addresses the voice directly. It says, thank you. Do you think so too? Do you think so? I understand that you feel that way, and I'm really busy right now and I can't listen to you and discuss this right now, but we can talk about that later. And I think that probably works because my brain can see that I'm pretty busy taking care of the little people and everything. And I usually do revisit it later because the voice will pop up again. Then, at those times when the voice is just really loud, really judgmental, and being mean to me, I will say, you don't get a vote. And that's it. I just move on. Like, I don't argue with it. I don't say, you don't get a vote because you're a jerk. I just say, you don't get a vote. And it shuts my voice down really effectively. Yeah. So, for me, the most important part of this journey is just remaining really compassionate with myself. Acknowledging those voices and those conversations, and realizing that I don't have to fix them perfectly each time. Sometimes I can talk and have that conversation with myself and realize what the voice actually is trying to get to. So like, for example, the voice that's telling me I should be doing squats while I'm stirring spaghetti sauce is just worried that my joints and ligaments and everything are so tight and actually so loose and popping in and out of place. It wants to try to help with that. So that's a different conversation than telling me I need to be doing squats all the time. And other times I really don't, like, I can't think of a clever thing to say or do to deal with the voice and to help it and to help myself, but just acknowledging that it's there and moving on is just as important and just as helpful. Well, let's see, for me. The other thing like I wanted to share is, like I was saying before, this is not my first time at the rodeo, my second time. Really, it's not even my third time. I've worked on this over the years, for years and years. And, you know, if there's someone who's like in her 20s or him in his 20s and you're watching this and you're thinking, am I ever going to get this right? And am I going to be stuck doing this forever? Am I such a fuck up? Blah, 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 blah. I would say, let's say worst case scenario, you are stuck doing this like for years and years to come. It's still not a horrible life. Like, you can still have wonderful things and still be very, very happy and embrace the fact that it is going to be a longer journey and you'll have someone like me right beside you and it's worth it. And it really does get better and better and better over time. I wouldn't even be attempting this again if I hadn't gotten a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better each and every time. The progress doesn't come as fast as I'd like it, but I do like the progress. And it has made me a better person. All right, I'm gonna sign off. Take care of this monkey. Thanks so much for watching.